I hope you all are having lunch somewhere. Those of you who are not here. So go ahead and call the roll. Yeah. Meeting will come to order. Okay, Jamie, call the roll.
Senator Edwards.
Here.
Andrew Casiello.
I'm Dean Claude. I'm sitting in for Andy today. So, hey, everyone.
Kevin Harris.
I here, present.
Lynn Hay.
Here.
Lorraine Lang.
Here.
Carolyn LaPree.
Here.
Annette Lewis. Here. Melissa Lubin. James McCoy. Jean Motley Husky. Tracy Nestor. Here. Jennifer Pittman.
Here.
Charles Price.
Charles is here.
I thought I saw him.
Yeah, a couple people just left. Charles is here.
Okay. Robert Sandel. Susan Short.
She is here as well.
Elda Stanko Downey.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, I think we have a quorum. Okay, we're meeting today pursuant to the legislation parts 4.4-0.01 of the House Bill 29 and the House Bill 30, permitting the board to meet electronically during the governor's declared state of emergency created by the pandemic. This time, I'd like to recognize Lorraine Lang, Dr. Lorraine Lang, for her 8 years of service to the board. Lorraine, you've been invaluable, and we're going to miss you. Unfortunately, according to the law, you served 2 full terms, and we're really going to miss you. You've been successful in everything you've done, and you've been extremely valuable to the board. And I want to thank you so much for everything you've done. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Senator Edwards. It's been an honor.
And we have a gift for you. Unfortunately, we're not together, and we want to make sure that we can meet you personally and maybe have lunch and give you a very nice gift for your service to the board.
Thank you.
Yeah. Kay, you want to say anything?
Lorraine has served on our executive committee, as you know, Mr. Chair, and has been an integral part of our personnel committee. She's also been a person that I have relied on for wise counsel, and I'm personally going to miss you as well, Lorraine. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. I've enjoyed my time on the board, but I think it's time for new blood, so that's good.
Well, we're going to miss you. Thanks so very much. Want to welcome the new Radford University Board of Representative, Dr. Lynn LaPree. Lynn?
Yes, she is. She's right up on the right-hand corner.
Okay, up in the right-hand corner. There you go. Welcome to the board. We appreciate it. You're being able to serve on the board.
Of course. Visitors with us.
And now we have, Kay's going to recognize some visitors here.
Yes, I will. The first thing I would like to say, Senator Edwards, is that Jamie Miller, our executive assistant and office manager, has taken a new role in Martinsville, Virginia, with a huge promotion and a huge title. We want to thank Jamie Miller for her service over the past 2 years, and we will sincerely miss you, Jamie. So good luck to you in your new venture. Also, Jeremiah McMillan, our Director of Facility Services, is joining us by Zoom. And our observers and visitors include Dean Cloud from Old Dominion, Diana Parrish from Mary Baldwin University, Richard Turner from JMU, Eula Price, Radford University, George Santopietro from Radford, Jim Murphy, Commonwealth Learning Systems, Scott Weimer from Virginia Tech, Beverly George Gay from VCU, and Yvonne Campbell from Virginia Western Community College. Have I missed anyone?
Okay, also joining us is Callie Clary, who's going to be our student speaker. She's also a guest today.
Thank you, Carla.
Okay. We should also note that the speaker has just informed us that she has appointed 2 members to the board that we just learned about. I'm not sure even they know about it yet. One is Delegate Sam Russell, the other is Delegate Chris Hirsch. And the Delegate Poindexter and Delegate Chris Head are no longer members of the board. And that's why they're not here. And we just found out about it. And I think they just found out about it as well.
They just found out about it last night. And we were just made aware of it about 2 hours ago. So we welcome Delegate Rasul and Delegate Hurst. And we hope that they will be joining us for the December meeting.
We hope they hear about it. So much for communications. Anyway, I just wanted everybody to understand where we are while Chris Head and Delegate Poindexter are not here. Okay, we have the minutes of the December 2nd, 2020 Board of Trustees meeting. Is there, I guess everybody's read it. Any questions? Is there a motion that we approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting of December 2nd, 2020?
So moved.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed no. No no's, so the motion carries unanimously. Now we have the privilege of having Callie Clary, a 2017 RU graduate and current JMU student, give us testimonial. Carla James Jackson, Dr. Carla James Jackson will introduce her. Doctor.
Thank you all. I have the honor of introducing Callie Clary. As Senator Edwards has indicated, she graduated in May 2017 from Radford University's Interdisciplinary Studies with Elementary Education Licensure Program here at the center. And she is currently enrolled in James Madison University's Educational Leadership Program. And she has recently been named Ferrum Elementary School's Teacher of the Year in Franklin County. So we are really pleased to have Callie with us to tell more about her story and her journey here at the Roanoke Higher Education Center.
Thank you so much, Carla. I really appreciate you introducing me, and hello, and thank you for allowing me to have some time today to talk about, I guess, my success story with the Higher Education Center. Just a little bit about me. I am a product of Franklin County Public Schools, and I am now an educator at Franklin County Public Schools. This is my 4th year, and what a crazy year we've definitely had this year in education. So when I graduated high school, my parents understood the importance of education, but also understood the importance that the financial burden needed to be on myself. So I chose to go to Virginia Western and do the CCAP program and spend 2 years there. While doing the CCAP program, I ended up getting not 1, not 2, but 3 different jobs because I actually kind of fell in love with having jobs and juggling things and being a full-time student. And one of the jobs I actually fell in love with and was the reason why I chose the Higher Education Center. And I actually still hold that job in the summertime and in the weekends. I work for a nonprofit that does traffic safety with high schoolers and middle schoolers all over the state. It's called Youth of Virginia Speak Out, and for short, it's YOVISO. And I ended up getting a summer internship with them, and I'm about to hit my 8-year mark with them. And I really enjoyed working with that program and getting to work with middle school and high schoolers. Even though I'm an elementary school teacher, I really enjoy all ages, and felt that when it came down time to decide where I was going to go after my associates, Radford was 100% where I wanted to go. I've had sisters graduate from Radford. My dad has a master's degree from Radford. I was completely set on it, but I did not want to have to leave my job. Commuting just wasn't going to be an option. So I ended up sitting down with Miss Price with Radford at the Higher Education Center. And after one meeting, I was completely sold. I knew that this was going to be a good fit for me to continue working while also gaining my bachelor's degree. So I started at the Higher Education Center, and I was in a cohort of 5 people. And I absolutely fell in love with having such a small class size, being able to make such a great connection with all of my professors. I just felt like the Higher Education Center had such like a mature environment. Everyone was going to school and also working full time. So we were all struggling together basically. And I really, really just enjoyed the environment and having access to the computer lab or a study hall area, because, you know, sometimes my schedule didn't always overlap with my work schedule. So instead of having to drive 40 minutes home, I was able to go sit at the higher ed and be able to get caught up on work or work with my partners on a project. So, you know, I have nothing but great things to say about the Higher Education Center. I'm a huge cheerleader for them. Anytime anyone asks me where I graduate, I say I have a Radford degree, but I graduated from the Higher Education Center. So, you know, go forward 4 years, I get a phone call the week before school starts. I'm having to switch a grade level and also go 100% virtual. So in that tailspin of panic, I'm actually sitting in on a meeting with Dr. Turner. I have a best friend who is also looking at getting her master's, and I was kind of half listening to it. Master's in the middle of learning a new grade level, teaching virtually in the middle of a pandemic wasn't really something that was on my plate or something that I was excited about at the time. But when he mentioned that the program was going to be through the higher ed and that it could be hybrid and, you know, that I was going to be back home, I guess, it kind of perked my ears up a little bit. So I went ahead and agreed to come in and sit on one class. And after sitting in one class, I was sold. It didn't matter that I was in the middle of teaching a new grade and trying to figure out what virtual was supposed to be like. It kind of felt like coming home again, I guess. I felt like that's what like an alumni feels like when they go back to campus. I loved being back at the higher ed. I think the professors there just have like just this sense of respect and understanding that the students that are going through the higher ed are juggling not only classes, but also life outside of college. So I just recently got accepted into the master's program, and I am about to finish up class number 3. So hopefully seeing graduating with my master's on the horizon, hopefully sooner rather than later. But I've just really enjoyed being back at the higher ed and having, you know, the access to school that's only 10 minutes away from my home now, where I can be able to be virtual. So if, you know, school gets crazy and I can't make it, I can do it from my classroom or I can do it from my home, but then also being back in the building and having access to my professors and to just being in classrooms with people that are dedicated and driven just the same as I am. So, you know, I love the higher ed. I've loved my experiences. You know, we'll continue to promote it with everyone. You know, anybody who asks me about my master's program, you know, the Higher Education Center is where I send them. So I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to kind of share my story and I guess my success with the higher ed. I am so honored that the fact that I got the privilege to not just do the CCAP program through Virginia Western, but then it was such a smooth transition to jump right into the higher ed. I think there was like a week in between me graduating Virginia Western and jumping in to my first class at the Higher Education Center. So I just appreciate everything you guys do to allow us students to have access to classes and everything that the higher ed has to offer. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for allowing me to have such a short little bit of time to talk today.
Kelly, thank you so very much. We appreciate all you had to say, and we appreciate the fact that you love the Higher Education Center and that what it means to you. Any questions from anybody? I assume everybody's read the annual report that we passed out last December and read about Dr. Carla James Jackson's personal experiences, which I'm very proud of. I think we all are. Doctor.
Thanks to Callie and congratulations, Callie.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you being here very, very much. Any further questions? Okay, we move right on. Our Director of Finance, Distinguished Director of Finance, Laurie Van Kuren, is going to give us a review of our finances as of March the 31st, 2021.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So our financial report is as of March 31st, as our chairman indicated. That is a third quarter results for us. And we'll start with our first financial statement, the statement of net position, which is a balance sheet showing that our cash and cash equivalents are still in very strong position at $3,050,643. This is a decline from the same period last year. However, there are timing differences that are attributed to some outstanding reimbursements related to COVID reimbursements through the CARES Act, as well as some state project funds for capital maintenance reserves. Moving down to the capital asset section, our assets have increased over this time last year. We did add a new fire panel and alarm system. The lobby logo project that we have on the second floor that displays all of our member institutions, as well as some facility and IT equipment. Construction in progress is holding balances that are related to projects that are still in motion. We've replaced a great amount of lighting throughout the building with LEDs for energy efficiency. Replaced some fan coils to help with our HVAC system. We've just completed the upgrade of our student lounge, which is amazing. If you haven't seen pictures of it, I believe, is there one on the website?
I think so, yes.
Definitely need to check that out. And it's also holding the amount of spending thus far for the Plaza project that is connecting our two buildings. Our current liabilities are at $92,641. That consists primarily of prepaid rent that we receive from member institutions. Below that line item is advance funding from the Treasury for the Plaza project. So we received in advance the amount that was appropriated for that project. And this is the amount that has not yet been spent. Do you have any questions about that financial statement before we move to the next?
Any questions? Okay.
Okay. Our next statement is the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position, which is an income statement. Our rental revenues through third quarter are $908,636, a little down from last year, mostly due to the social distancing and other restrictions that have lowered our day rental business just a little, but we are seeing things pick up with day rental and testing as well. And hope that that will continue very, very quickly now that further restrictions have been lifted. Our operating expenses, salary and benefits include an increase that are contributed to the 2% COLA that was approved by the board last year, as well as 3 new part-time positions for testing proctors and a day porter that is assisting with additional cleaning and sanitation in the building. Facility services, we've got some cost savings there, but also last year had one-time spending that included the furniture in the room that we're sitting in. It was an uplift from furniture that was quite dated before. And our administration and general expenses are quite higher than last year, but over $200,000 of that increase is related to pandemic expenses that have all been covered by the CARES Act. So we're very fortunate to have been reimbursed for those items. Are there any questions about this statement before we go to the last?
Any questions? Okay, Laurie.
Okay, the last statement is our reserve analysis. This analysis is actually as of the end of April. I wanted to give a more up-to-date view of where our cash reserves stand and adjusted for cash balances that we know are going out or balances that are slated to come in very quickly. the reserve balance is $2,774,708, and that is above our max targets. And we are not only between our minimum and maximum target, but above that by 5%. So we're in strong cash reserve. Do we have any questions about that statement?
Any questions? Anybody have any questions?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. At this time, we'll go on to the budget review and personal committee report. Elda Stanko Downey, and then Jennifer Pittman. Elda?
Hello, good afternoon, Senator Edwards. Good afternoon, fellow board members and guests. I'd like to first point out that this year we've had a great collaborative team effort in reviewing our budget and in the salary increases we're about to review and propose to the board. So before we go into the detail, I'd just like to say a thank you to the Budget Committee and the Personnel Committee, Dr. Short, Mr. Hayth, Ms. Pittman, who will also be briefing you, Ms. Nestor and Dr. Lang, for all your reviews, your input, recommendations, as well as our distinguished Director of Finance, Lori Van Kuren, and Kay and her team. So that said, we're presenting to you for action the following. The Budget Committee has approved $53,345 to be used towards employee salary increase and merit pay. The committee recommends a 3% across the board cost of living increase for employees. This constitutes $34,537. And the committee also recommends an additional average 1.5% merit increase for all applicable employees to be distributed at the executive director's discretion. The committee has agreed to allow a small latitude in merit pay to exhaust the available $53,345,000. And Ms. Pittman, if you would like to go next.
Thank you, Elda. The Personnel Committee, it is noted that we support the recommendations that the Budget Committee has made of being able to split the available funds between cost of living and a merit. The Personnel Committee also noted that the merit increases should be divvied up or determined using an objective factor such as performance evaluation ratings. And with that, we endorse or support this recommendation.
Okay. Any questions? So is there a motion that we approve the recommended approach for salary increases for 2021 and 2022?
So move.
Been moved and seconded that the board approve the recommendations.
Second.
For salary increases for 2021 and 2022. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 All opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Good, thank you. All right, recommended approval of 2022 budget. Elda Stanko Downey, that's on item 8.
Yes.
I'm sorry, item 6, I guess. Can't read.
7.
Yes, sir. Item 6, which is now
I need glasses.
in front of you on the screen or on paper if you are at the meeting in person. I hope you have had the opportunity to look through this proposed budget. Lori just went through some other items that are sort of related to our budget, and it is here before you today. We recommend approval coming from the Budget Committee after our meeting with Lori, as well as the Executive Committee. So Senator Edwards, I think we are ready to recommend approval. And
okay. Is there a motion to approve the proposed fiscal year 2022 budget? Is there a motion? It's been moved and there's a second? Second. It's moved and seconded that we approve the fiscal year 2022 budget. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Very good. We're moving right along. Okay, Lori Van Kuren. Approval of revision to cash reserve policy. This is item 7.
Okay, thank you, Senator. we have a current cash reserve policy that was originally approved by the board in July of 2018. And upon review of the policy, we determined that there was a required revision, and we have recommended revision as well. So the original cash reserve policy, purpose of this policy is to ensure the stability of operations of the center and maintaining enough cash balance to have minimum reserves for unforeseen items. There are three components within the policy. The first component is a target maximum, the target operating reserve, 4 months minimum to 7 months maximum of our operating expenses. The second component is a $1 million investment, which we currently have between local government investment pool, money market accounts, and certificates of deposit. The third component was a $95,000 reserve held to cover our annual debt service payment. However, that is no longer applicable because that loan was paid off. So the first revision is to delete that component, and we would like to replace that with a capital reserve fund component that could be used for one-time non-recurring projects, improvements, or opportunities that are not otherwise funded by the state and may come up in between budget cycles. Any questions about the policy or the revisions that have been noted?
Any questions about the cash reserve policy? Okay, is there a motion to approve the revisions to the cash reserve policy as explained? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved and seconded that the board approve the revisions to the cash reserve policy as explained by Laurie. All in favor, any discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Move on to number 8, which is request for additional plaza funding. Okay, we'll explain where we are with regard to the plaza.
Senator Edwards, I'd first like to show the schematic drawing that Jeremiah McMillan has shared at the bottom of this handout. This is the progress thus far. In other words, the asphalt has been removed, the handicap parking has been relocated, and the pay station has been transferred further south on the paid parking lot belonging to the city. We just received word yesterday from Price Construction that our PVC piping will be here this week. And so the stormwater management project will begin on Monday, and we will be laying the foundation for the walkway between the main building and the Claude Moore. Many of you know this project is very important to us at the Higher Education Center, and it is important for us to tell the story of the Greensboro community, beginning in 1835 all the way up to 1970. We have had difficulty in securing materials, and not only that, but the cost of materials has increased about 60%. And I know that all of you on Zoom and all of you present in this room are experiencing the same thing within your own business and organization. It has been brought to our attention, Senator Edwards, that this project is going to cost us a total of $718,000, of which the General Assembly has already appropriated $448,000, leaving us with a deficit of $270,000. We are asking the board today for your approval to use cash reserve to fund the remaining amount so that this project can continue and can continue successfully and be completed before the end of the calendar year, December of 2021.
Okay, any discussion about this? The money's there, right?
The money is there, and as I reviewed for the April 30th analysis, we were at 105 of the maximum. Taking into account what we would need for this project, we would still be at 95% of the maximum and 30% over the minimum.
Okay. All right. And we'll go to Richmond and see if we can get some more money. So is there a motion that we use the additional funding that has been discussed to complete the plaza, a shortfall of $270,000? And let's blame Texas. How's that? The disaster in Texas, as well as the pandemic and the general inflation that's occurred, 60% increase. Is there a motion that we approve this request for additional funding from cash reserves for the plaza? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion to use the cash reserves for as additional funding for the plaza project? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Great. Okay, we're making progress here. Yes.
There's been a lot of work put into this, and I want to commend Kay for all of her background work, leg work, and everything. So, I'm happy to see that this board approved the spending of the amount of money needed to finish this project. So, thank you, Kay, for how you represented higher ed in the community very well.
We appeared before City Council numerous times in order to secure the vote, Mr. Chairman, as you are well aware. So we are extremely thankful that the City of Roanoke has awarded this land to us. That happened in January of 2020. I also want to commend Dr. Jackson for the work that she is doing with many of our Gainesboro stakeholders, because as you know, it is important for us to tell the story, to tell it well, and to tell it accurately. Carla has a standing weekly meeting with those individuals, and we are progressing nicely with the technology piece. Carla, if you would just give us a few comments about how that project is going.
Certainly. You all know through the focus groups that we had with the community and other stakeholders that we came to a consensus that rather than naming individual people and recognizing events actually in the plaza, that we would do that through technology and develop a mobile app, so that we could continue to tell the story long after the plaza is built and long after Kay and I have left, and they can expand on it. It's flexible and it will really enhance the experience when you're in the plaza or wanting to learn more about the Gainesboro community. So we have partnered with a group at New City. We've done some discovery work, and we are working on the development of a magnificent mobile app that will launch at the same time that the plaza opens to tell that Gainesboro story and allow us to continue to tell the story and enrich all of that information as time goes on. And we've also partnered with Roanoke City Public Libraries. They are helping us through their Virginia Room resources to build that mobile app as well. So it's really a community effort, and one I think you'll all be proud of when we're finished.
A special thank you to Yvonne Campbell, Jennifer Pittman, and Virginia Western Community College. This green space will be an area for us to have to eat, to study, but also an outdoor learning lab for our culinary arts students. So I want to give a special thank you to Yvonne. We have had great cooperation from the chefs and good input from them.
Any other questions about this? I think everybody's gonna be proud of what we're doing here. And I think, has everybody seen the what's gonna be on the plaza, the language, the history of Gainesboro from 1835 to the present time? If you haven't, everybody has a copy of this?
We shared this with the board at the December meeting. There are 7 granite markers giving the timeline and also the stories that the stakeholders feel are worthy of us mentioning.
Let me just mention, since you don't have it in front of you now, but there are 7 granite markers that tell the story from 1835 to the 1970s. In 1835, it's about Greensboro. It was chartered in 1835. How many people knew that? And then Big Lick to Roanoke from 1852 to 1884. The 1852, the Virginia-Tennessee Railroad went through here, East-West Railroad. And then the little community of Big Lick developed. And then in 1882, they changed the name when the Norfolk and Western Railway, North-South Railway, was called the Shenandoah Valley Railway, merged with the Virginia Railway, Tennessee Railway, and became the Norfolk and Western Railway in 1882. And the little community of Big Lick became a town. It was a town. It was before that, it was just a little community or town of Big Lick, and became the town of Roanoke in 1882. In 1884, became the city of Roanoke for the first time. And it was the 3rd city in Virginia. There was Richmond, there was Norfolk, and Roanoke. The 3rd city, people forget about that, with the 3rd city in Virginia in 1884. And then it tells the story until 1945. From 1882 to 1945. And then 1900 to 1970, the Center for African Americans who lived here. That's an important story to know about. And then from 1955 to 1980, urban renewal. We know what happened there. The northwestern part of Roanoke northeastern part of Roanoke was basically wiped out by urban renewal. And that's an important history to remember and not forget. And then from 1870 to 1929, the education of African Americans and what education there was. And then in 1954 to 1970, the social and educational integration of this area. And so I think it's very important to the Gainsborough and the Big Lick community to find out the history, especially of the African American community who lived here. You know, there's Gainsborough, then there's Big Lick, and a large number of African Americans who lived here. And up until the 70s, the Henry Street was basically the cultural and economic life of the African American community in Roanoke. And so I think it's very important that we preserve and tell the story, and have what you've done with this, having this
mobile app.
We call it an app. Everything's an app. So it's an app so you can walk around and learn a lot more. And of course, in front of Gainsborough, there are four kiosks about the history of Gainsborough, the history of Henry Street. Very important. And also we have the theater, the overhang there that looks like it used to look back in before 1970. That the theater had many different names at different times. And across from that is Dumas Hotel, of course, Capstone and Dumas Hotel. So anyway, I think what we've tried to do is preserve the history of this region, the history of this area, and especially the history of the African American community that was basically settled here many years ago. And so hope you all, if you don't, maybe send around to everybody, get a copy of this. I think everybody needs to take a look at this and see what we've done. I'm very proud of what's been going on. And thank you, Kay, and thank you, Carla, and others who participated in making this happen. It's very important. Okay. Have we approved I guess we did approve the request for funding.
Yes, sir.
So now we got to move on to Laurie, new state funding for informational items only.
So incorporated in the budget that we just approved are two new sources of funding that we received. They were slated to be in the current fiscal year, but it was removed from the state's biennial budget, and special thanks to Senator Edwards to him being instrumental in getting that reinstated for FY22. This new funding will cover two initiatives here at the center. One is for increased safety and security. We will be able to install 3 blue light phones with one-time funding from this initiative into, I think one is going to be in the plaza and then one in each student parking lot. It also carries operating budget that will go ongoing for additional safety and security in the building. The second initiative is the Academic Student Success Center, and I'm going to defer detail to Dr. Jackson. She's going to talk about that on our next agenda item.
Yes.
Dr. Jackson.
Thank you, Senator Edwards. So I'll talk about the Student Success Center first. As Lori just indicated, we received one-time funding of $66,898 and an ongoing funding amount of $146,000 for the development and maintenance of a Student Success Center. Those of you who have served on the board for some time know that we did some survey work and focus group work with our members, and a Student Success Center has been a long time request from our membership. So we are going to use this funding to create the Student Success Center, which will provide academic and student support services to include math tutoring, writing assistance, technology and study skills, and career services such as resume writing, interviewing skills, and career assessments. And so we're really excited about that. The renovation of room 206, which is on the other side of the building on this floor, has already started. And you'll see probably in the next 2 weeks advertisements for a student success coordinator and for tutors for the Student Success Center. So we're very excited about that. And I also want to share with you the grant awards that have been made to our members who applied for the new program incentive grant. That's a program we started several years ago to fund shorter learning experiences like workshops, seminars, camps, boot camps, specialized trainings. So we are honored to award Commonwealth Learning Systems. They are actually our newest member here at the center. They received a $3,000 grant to support their 10-week in-person on-site summer camps for students. So we're excited about that. Project Discovery also received a $3,000 grant. They're going to be offering multiple clinics to help parents and students complete the FAFSA, the financial aid process that you go through in order to receive funding to go to school. So they're going to have multiple camps this summer. And then Radford University Clinical Simulation Center, they received a grant of $2,700 for specialized training in their clinical simulation center. So we are really excited to award these incentive grants, and the next cycle will be this fall. And we encourage all of our members to think about programming that we might be able to help you host here at the center. That's my report, Senator Edwards.
Any questions on this program update? This is item 10. Commonwealth Learning Systems, 3,000, Project Discovery, 3,000, and Radford University Clinical Sim Center, 2,700. Okay. Any questions? All right, thank you very much. Okay, now we move on to, we need to appoint a new member to the foundation board. We have a Roanoke Higher Education Center Foundation, as you know, money raising board. And Jack Avis, the owner of Avis Construction Company, has agreed to join the board, serving a 3-year term starting July 1, 2021 through June 30, 2024. Jack's bio is in front of you. The Avis Construction did the work for the expansion of the Culinary Arts Institute for Virginia Western that was opened up in 2018, I think it was. He's been an interested party. He was very excited when we asked him if he would be on the board. He said he'd love to. And if you see his resume there, he's been very active in the community in many, many matters. So I think he's an outstanding addition to the board. Any discussion? Is Kay, you want to explain any more about Jack
Mr.
Avis?
Chairman, I would like to, we are requesting approval of Mr. Avis. Diversity on this board is very important to us. And I want to give a very special thank you to Dr. Elda Stanko Downey, who is recruiting 2 new members to our board. So we look forward to bringing those names forward in December. Lutheria Smith is the chair of the Roanoke City School Board, has agreed to come on board, however, wishes for her term of office Ms. Lewis, as you are aware, how much time that takes on the Roanoke City School Board. We will be bringing her name forward in June of 2022. Regrettably, Katina Hamler was approached, does want to join us, Senator Edwards, hopefully in a couple years, but she has taken a more active role with Hamler Properties and the real estate business. So the only name we have to bring forward today is Mr. Avis.
Any more discussion? Is there ready for a motion to approve Jack Avis as an additional member to the Roanoke Higher Education Center Foundation? Is there a motion to approve it? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. I guess we got to go into closed session.
Yes.
Yeah, Lorraine, you got the motion?
Yes. At this time, I'd like to call for the executive committee to convene in closed session to discuss personnel matters pursuant to section 2.2-3711.A.1 Code of Virginia 1950 as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
I think we have to call the roll.
We have to leave. We'll call when we reconvene.
Okay, all right. Don't we have to just vote? We have to vote?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right, we're going into closed session without a vote.
Call the roll when we get back.
Yeah, afterwards we'll call the roll. Don't go too far.
I'm just going to go to you.
Okay, well.
Amy, will you just stop the recording before all you out?
Yep, she's going to stop the recording and Dean will exit right now and then we will get him back when we, Yvonne as well. Right.
Do I stay or go? Actually, not sure.
You do stay, Dr. LaPree.
Thank you.
Beverly goes as well. Okay, I think we have everybody and I'm exiting as well. So we'll give you one moment and we'll be out.
Elder is going to make that motion.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to call for the executive committee to reconvene from closed session pursuant to section 2.2-3711.A.1 Code of Virginia 1950 as amended. We can have a roll call and confirm the quorum.
Is there a motion? Okay, we got to call the roll.
Yes.
We got to call the roll to. Isn't there some language you have to say?
She just read.
All right. Okay. All right.
Senator Edwards.
Yes.
Andrew Casiello. Kevin Harris.
Aye.
Lynn Hay.
Yes.
Lorraine Lang.
Yes.
Carolyn LaPree.
Yes.
Annette Lewis.
Yes.
Melissa Lubin. James McCoy. Jean Motley Husky.
Yes.
Tracy Nestor.
Yes.
Jennifer Pittman.
Yes.
Charles Price. Robert Sandel. Susan Short.
Yes.
Elda Stanko Downey.
Yes.
Quorum.
Okay. Thank you. So we've got a quorum and we're calling it a closed session officially. Okay. Now the next item is number 14 is upcoming executive committee and full board meetings. Put it on your calendar. Tuesday, November the 16th at 2 o'clock, the executive committee meeting. Wednesday, December the 1st at 12 o'clock is the full board meeting. Same place here. We do have another business matter because Dr. Lorraine Lang is moving on. She's the vice president of the board. We need to elect a vice president, and I understand Bobby Sandals willing to do this. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Dr. Elda Stanko Downey will be giving us the details of that.
Okay. Dr. Elda Stanko Downey, shall I explain this?
Thank you, Senator Edwards. So before school is out for the summer, looking at 2021, 2022, I'd like to make forth a motion to nominate Senator Edwards as chair, Dr. Bobby Sandell as our first vice chair, and Mr. Lynn Haith as the second vice chair for 2021, 2022.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Any discussion? And Haith, you ready for this?
Sure. As long as you and Bobby are here.
Good luck, Lynn.
Okay, with that, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. All right, Lynn. Bobby, tell Bobby. We look forward to seeing him.
Yes, Dr. Sandell has agreed to take the first vice presidency. So he just was not able to be with us today.
I'll email and remind me.
I heard from him this morning. So
Every meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other business?
Senator Edwards, can I just remind everyone that we are having open house tomorrow from 4 to 6. I hope you've seen the commercials and the newspaper advertisements. We're excited to have an in-person open house after a year of a virtual open house.
I think everybody's glad to have any kind of opening. And yeah, great commercials too, by the way.
Yes.
I appreciate you doing that.
Great.
And I think more and more people are recognizing what we're doing here.
Absolutely.
For a long time, you've had not many people didn't know exactly what we did. So it's very important to get this information out. Any further business? Well, thank you all for coming. And I appreciate what the work of the staff. Kay's done a great job.
Thank you.
And you all have done a great job. We appreciate the staff more than you can imagine. Okay, if there's no further business, is there a motion we adjourn the meeting? Second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you all very much. Meeting's adjourned.
And welcome, Dr. Lepre. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Carolyn.
Good luck, Jamie. We're gonna miss you.
Yes.
You guys.
Yes.
Take care.
Jamie's got a huge job ahead of her, but she will do wonderful things.